So let's talk about the benefits and the downsides to travel nursing. You have to leave your home. You leave everything for a little bit, right? That could be 4 weeks or up to 3 months. You leave your home and you're working elsewhere. So that is kind of a downside. If you have a family, like I have my family back home, my parents, my brother, my grandfather, they all live back home in Colorado. I don't get to see them. Thankfully, we have technology that allows us to FaceTime or call or text or whatever, but still not the same as seeing each other in person. So that is a downside. Another downside is that even though you may be living in Colorado or you may be working in Arizona, you still have to pay state taxes for both states. So I still have my bills back in Colorado that I have to pay for, but yet I still have to pay for my bills here in Arizona and state tax as well. So that could also be a downside if you're working in a state that has high state taxes. Another downside, and this could be potentially the biggest, is you go into facilities that are short-staffed or need help. This doesn't necessarily mean that is a bad facility, but there is a potential for it. It could be a rough facility to work for. So that's another downside. It may not be, Beverly Hills cushy, I guess you could say. It could be a really rough facility to work for. Now, the benefits of it. This is probably the biggest benefit for me personally, is I get to travel around and see places. I get to go to these different places that I, never been or never thought I'd go to, and get to explore and go outdoors or see different parts of the city or different areas that you may not necessarily be able to see when you go on a quick vacation to that area. So that is a benefit. Number 2, you can get paid more. You can make a pretty good income being a travel nurse. However, it comes down to whether you do it right or not. I've seen some travel nurses that they don't make any income. They go and get these lavish rooms or lavish places to stay, eat the best food, but they don't pull any income after their contract because they didn't do it right. However, there are some other travel nurses that live on the bare minimum and have a lot of extra money at the end of their contract that they can bring home. So I'm going to talk about that here a little bit later on, some tips for living cheap while being a travel nurse. Benefit number 3 is you get to care for different types of disease processes as a travel nurse. Where I'm at back home, small town, may not get to see some very critical patients that I may see while traveling, may not get to experience some different things. So I feel like personally it helps you develop as a nurse, become a better nurse if you try hard. A lot of travel nurses are there for the money and that is it. They don't try hard. But when you go into these situations, learn something, be willing to learn something, interact with different patients that have these disease processes that you've never worked with. That is going to benefit you, make you a better nurse, and expand your knowledge base as well. So now I'm going to talk about some tips for getting started and while you're on contract. So the first thing I can think of is make a list. I personally have an Excel spreadsheet that I use to list the cost of living in the area, how much gas costs, how much the housing costs, how much state taxes are. Will I potentially benefit from or come out on top at the end of this contract, or will I just break even and not make any money? Second thing is looking for housing is the most difficult thing in the world for a traveler, especially if you're going to small rural communities. However, there are some websites that you can go on to. The one that I use personally is called furnishfinder.com. You can go on there, check that out. They have a list of different little homes that people rent out to travel nurses. A little bit on the cheaper side. Most of the time these are furnished, and all you have to do is show up, you live there for a little bit, and you're gone. You don't have to sign a contract. They may have a minimum stay requirement, so like 30 days, 90 days, that type of a thing. But it's not like a typical apartment where you sign for like a year lease or anything like that. The other thing that you can consider are hotels. There are extended stay hotels out there. I'm actually staying at one right now, and they're fully furnished. They usually offer housekeeping services, breakfast, laundry on site. They have a pool. Like the one I'm staying at has a basketball court, a gym. However, they could be a little bit pricier. So look into that and find out what would be the best for you. Another thing that you can do is rent a room from somebody. This entitles just paying like, I think it's like $500 a month or something like that to just rent this room. However, the downside is to that you do have other people living with you, and if you're like me, I am a very private person, and I don't like, no, I'm not going to share with some random stranger. So no, just, I don't recommend that. If you want to do that, go for it. I don't recommend that. Another thing, once you find your place and you talk to the owner or the hotel or whoever, call them and say, hey, are you in a centrally located area? How far out of town are you? Do you have utensils and pots and pans and a full kitchen and stuff like that, that I could use while I'm staying there? This makes a huge difference. I talked about this in my last video. Having a kitchen will save you money so you can cook and not have to eat out all the time. A lot of travelers, and I've worked with a bunch of travelers who do this, and this is something that I'm actually personally looking into, but a lot of travelers buy campers or travel trailers, RVs, and live in their RV while they're on assignment. This saves a lot of money, because most of these campsites, like if you go to a KOA or something like that, they only charge like $400 a month to live there. You have your own area. You don't have to worry about paying a housekeeper or anything like that. It's cheap to live there, and you have all your stuff with you. You don't have to worry about packing anything. The only packing that you do is strapping down everything and then hooking the camper onto a hitch. So that is something to consider as well. Now, the next thing that I recommend is making sure that you're in a safe area. This is something that I do. I check, I can't remember the website, but I check there's a website that shows me what are the crime statistics in this area. Or if you know people that live there, reach out to them. Find out if it's a good area or not. This makes a difference, because even though you may be living there for a little bit, you are not a local. You do have a different license plate. In my case, I have a Colorado license plate. So that is an automatic target to people who are very naughty. That's all I can think of. Very naughty people like to break into cars, steal things. So making sure that you're in a safe area is also very important. My last tip is find out what there is fun to do there. Even though, yes, you are here working, you're there to work, that is your whole purpose. Have fun. Enjoy things. For example, where I'm at in Arizona, there's lots of hiking to do. There's museums, there's downtown area, all kinds of stuff that I could do. So bring stuff that you can use accordingly. Pack what you need, don't overpack. Did that last contract and it was not fun. So bring what you need. I brought hiking stuff and my photography stuff, of course, so you record videos. And that's all I brought. Bring stuff that you can do to have fun, and have fun while you're there. So that is the video. I hope you guys enjoyed talking about travel nursing, what travelers do, the benefits, the risks, how to get started. And if you have any questions, of course, leave them down in the comment section. And like I always say, if you like the video, hit that like button, and then subscribe to the channel for more content. I've been wanting to make more videos about nursing because the whole reason, like I said, the whole reason that I made the page was to talk about travel nursing and the things that you can do while you're doing your travel nursing assignment. However, I haven't made very many videos about nursing itself, like at all, I don't think. So yeah. Anyway, hope you guys liked the video. I got some more videos coming up. I got some things planned. Looking forward to the next couple months here in Arizona and go from there. Other than that, this has been Traveling with a Nurse, a video on how to become a travel nurse, what it's like. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'm out. Peace.